So you wonder, how did we end up with a government that was allowing millions and millions and millions of people to flood our borders? Well, it was intentional. Well, why would our own government do that to us? Because we are waking up in a nation that's been steeped in occult rituals all over the news, all over entertainment, all over the sporting events, the Super Bowl halftime rituals. Our nation has been, corporations, I did a study many years ago on corporate logos. Do some digging on corporate logos. So many corporate logos are filled with demonic, satanic influences that are trying to shift the consciousness of a nation. And you're being drilled with it from the time you're a child. You don't even know it. I love when I've got a young person at the monastery who is wearing Nike shoes, and I ask them, do you know where that Nike symbol comes from? It literally, you can go online and look this up. It was a demonic angel wing. And even Nike was what the god is. It's a false god. So our corporations are filled with these demonic logos, and we have to be aware. We don't want to subject our children to them. Maximilian goes on, we live in a time where the food is poison and the water is laced with toxins. Our corporations sell products that are outlawed in other nations, chemical cocktails disguised as cereal and snacks, shots that weaken the body, and pharmaceuticals that enslave. Our skies are sprayed with chemtrails, our children are injected, and our elderly are slowly euthanized by chronic disease. This isn't public health. It's engineered suffering. And my notes are in red here. I don't want to cover my notes right now. I'm going to continue on. We live in a time where the truth is illegal. Mainstream media lies with impunity, while those who expose corruption are deplatformed, demonetized, and demonized. They silence whistleblowers and elevate deceivers. The prophets are jailed and the sorcerers are televised. Well, I got to say that again. They silence whistleblowers and elevate deceivers. Well, I'll sit on that one for just a second. The fourth estate has become a mouthpiece of the dragon. So what I did, I actually put some notes in here. Evidence of criminalizing dissent. I put in top 10 deplatformed or defamed truth tellers. And I think you'll appreciate these. See, we live in a time where truth tellers are vilified while deceivers are given the microphone. The following individuals have been among the most prominent targets of coordinated deplatforming, censorship, and defamation. So number one, you got Alex Jones. He was deplatformed. And when you think about all the news stations, how they've been wrong and fake and phony, and you remember, was it ABC or CBS who they put out the Kamala Harris interview where they edited it to make her look better and they got caught? And now they're turning around and giving themselves an award for journalism for that particular story. I mean, this is how people invert truth. I mean, if you go back and look in the book of Jasher, it actually describes Sodom and Gomorrah. And it wasn't just about perversion of sexuality. Sodom and Gomorrah, according to the book of Jasher, right had become wrong and wrong had become right. So there's a story in that book where it says that in Sodom and Gomorrah, there was a guy and he took a stone and he hit somebody else over the head and made the guy bleed. And then he said, I'm going to sue you. You owe me money for me making you bleed. And then they went to court and the guy won. And that is how inverted everything was. And that's why God had to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, is because truth was completely inverted. Remember, Satan is the author of confusion. And this inversion is so confusing to a sincere individual who's not trying to be wicked. And you're being bombarded with satanic inversions everywhere, to the point where what they call news is constantly lying to you. It's literally a propaganda outlet designed to manipulate, deceive. I remember there's a quote by, I think it was Ronald Reagan's CIA guy, who said, we will know that we've succeeded when 90% of what the American population believes is not true. There's some quote like that. You can look it up. So it's been a goal to use propaganda to deceive for a long time, but then you get truth tellers who get silenced. Look, Alex Jones. I love the Alex Jones was right meme. You can get t-shirts that say Alex Jones was right. Donald J. Trump, the president of the United States, was banned from Twitter. I mean, these are things that just happened in the last 4 years, and we forget because now, DJT is president again. But do you realize he got banned from Twitter? Are you kidding me? So you can have Peter Strzok, who was on the Russiagate investigation, who was texting with his girl saying, "Don't worry, we're going to stop Trump." And he gets caught lying about his stuff. I think his wife was receiving donations from Hillary Clinton. You have to look this up. I'm fuzzy on all the details of it, but that guy is promoted and put on the news stations as a regular contributor. And then Donald J. Trump, who's exposing wickedness and stopping child trafficking and ending wars, he's censored off of Twitter. Joe Rogan, you remember when Joe Rogan was taking ivermectin and they were saying that he was taking a horse dewormer when it was well known that ivermectin has been prescribed for many, many years. It's FDA approved for as a human drug. So, Robert Malone, the guy who helped create mRNA, was banned from Twitter, and he was sharing his concerns. He was the guy that helped create mRNA, and he was sharing concerns and got banned off of Twitter. Peter McCullough, a top cardiologist, McCullough was deplatformed from YouTube and other outlets for promoting early treatment protocols. So it's amazing how truth tellers get silenced. Andrew Tate, James O'Keefe, Russell Brand, Elon Musk, Julian Assange. So you get a lot of truth tellers that get silenced while the news gets to lie with impunity. Maximilian goes on, "We live in a time where children are sexualized, families are destroyed, and the sacred is mocked. Schools teach perversion, entertainment celebrates adultery and abortion, and righteousness is labeled as hate. Marriage is redefined, motherhood is despised, masculinity is outlawed. The culture is not just confused, it is being ritually inverted." You see, I think sometimes people think that if there's some satanic priest doing rituals somewhere where you don't see it, that it's not really hardly impacting the environment. But I think that the reason why so many people don't understand is because there's such a lack of prayer in our nation. I've been basically a monastery missionary for many, many, many years now. My life has been prayer. And one of the things, when you set aside 6 to 8 hours a day of set aside prayer time, what happens is you just become extremely sensitive to spiritual atmospheres. And so you recognize a spiritual atmosphere when it walks into the room. And this is one of the reasons I struggle to want to go be at churches, because churches allow so many people to show up and remain oppressed. And so people come in carrying all their junk, and then people sit around and listen to a sermon, a homily, a few songs, depending on what kind of church you go to. And most people walk out of them the way they came. And the environment is difficult. If you're an intercessor who's spending a lot of hours in prayer and you walk into an environment where you can see people who are walking in weighed down with spirits hanging off them and, just oppressed, and the leaders of churches either can't see it, don't know what to do about it, aren't really helping it. And this is very common. I'm not saying everywhere. I'm not saying that there's no congregations where you can benefit from, but I'm just saying that in a fast food society where several hours a day of prayer is not the common, the normal, you become desensitized to everything, and then you don't realize the presence of a satanic ritual or satanic priest in your region. You don't even recognize its impact. And so we need to pray in the name of Jesus for an increase of prayer in America, an increase of prayer, that people would suddenly that you would fill this nation with a spirit of prayer would come upon this nation, and people would begin to repent in mass of prayerlessness, God, that there would be a great turning from prayerlessness, Lord, a great turning from prayerlessness, Lord, in Jesus' mighty name. Ritual inversion, the assault on innocence, family, and virtue. I'm not going to go into these are my notes on this guy's article. But let me finish. His article ends, and it's powerful. Let me read this. Maximilian Pryor says, we live in a time where speech is criminal, virtue is vice, and insanity is law. People are told to deny biology, reject reason, and worship identity. Truth is hate speech, sanity is bigotry. Even milk is racist because white is now a crime. No, you're not imagining it. It's not just chaos. It's not just corruption. This is coordination. This is priestcraft. What you are witnessing is not simply the failure of institutions. You are witnessing the rise of an ancient spiritual system, a hidden order that operates behind the veil of politics, media, finance, and entertainment. It is old, it is powerful, and it is intentionally designed to enslave. It is called the occult priesthood of the cabal. Wow, this guy's powerful. This is the dark priesthood that channels demonic powers, consecrates nations to Lucifer, and performs liturgies of destruction while the world sleeps. They are high priests of global control, servants of the fallen thrones, gatekeepers of deception, architects of societal collapse. Now ask yourself, how could such blatant destruction be happening in a nation founded on Christian principles, freedom, and righteous living? How could hundreds of millions of people accept a society in which these things are not only tolerated but celebrated? How could so many allow it, even cheer it on? The answer is chilling. They've been placed under a spell. Not a fairy tale spell, but a real one. A spiritual sedation. Wow. A trance woven from media, pharmakia, propaganda, and fear. I got to read this over and over and over again for my own soul. This is so powerful. This guy is throwing powder on the invisible octopus that has been strangling the nations. A dream state where wrong is right, evil is good, and slavery is freedom. By the way, if you ever feel like I'm going too slow, put me on 1.5 speed, 1.75 speed on YouTube. I listen to almost everything at least 1.25, 1.5 speed, sometimes 2 speed. The architects of this spell are not just politicians, pundits, or CEOs. They are priests of another kingdom, an unholy order whose rituals empower principalities, whose blood sacrifices sanctify lies, and whose true enemy is not you. It's the image of God within you. You know, sometimes when I'm re-listening to videos that we put out, I think, well, I don't want to bore people with just reading, but this article is so good. I feel like I could read it over and over and over again. The war is real, the throne is occupied, and the only way to win is to wake up, cast off the spell, and confront the priesthood behind the curtain. The question is no longer, is this happening? The question is, will you remain asleep under their liturgy, or will you arise and break the spell?
The majority of people arrested in last